Everyone is watching the elections. Everyone is watching the candidates. Everyone is watching the headlines. But almost no one is watching what truly matters. Because while America argues loudly, power is moving quietly, not with tanks, not with coups, not with dramatic announcements, but through silence, through systems, through things most people don't question. This is not the story of America collapsing. This is the story of America transforming, and the most dangerous transformations are the ones you don't notice while they're happening. For most of American history, power had a clear address. It lived in the White House. It debated in Congress. It ruled from the Supreme Court. Power had buildings. Power had faces. Power had names. If something went wrong, you knew where to look. But today, power doesn't look like that anymore, because power has learned an important lesson. Visibility creates resistance. The more visible power becomes, the more people push back. So modern power adapted. It didn't disappear. It decentralized. Today, power lives in influence, not authority. In control, not commands. In systems, not speeches. You may vote for leaders, but you live inside systems you never voted for, and those systems decide far more than elections ever could. Turn on the television in America. Now switch the channel. Same country, same day, same events, completely different realities. This is not a coincidence. Modern media no longer exists to inform, it exists to frame. What you see is not chosen randomly. What you don't see is even more important. Media today does not ask, what is true? It asks, what will hold attention? Because attention is power. The more emotional the story, the more profitable it becomes. Fear spreads faster than facts. Anger travels further than nuance. So reality is edited, not to explain the world, but to provoke reactions. And slowly Americans stopped arguing about solutions. They started arguing about reality itself. Fear is not new in politics, but its precision is. Fear today is targeted, measured, optimized. Algorithms know what scares you, what angers you, what keeps you scrolling at 2 a.m. A scared population doesn't ask deep questions. It looks for protection, and protection always comes with conditions. Fear simplifies complex problems into enemies. Fear turns neighbors into threats. Fear trades freedom for comfort. And once fear becomes normal, control becomes easy. Because people who are afraid don't notice what they're giving up. They're too busy trying to feel safe. The most powerful political force in America today doesn't wear a suit. It doesn't give speeches. It doesn't run for office. It's invisible. Algorithms decide what you see, what you don't see, what you believe is popular, what you believe is extreme. Technology doesn't just reflect society, it shapes it. When information is filtered, choice becomes an illusion. You feel free, but you are being guided, not by ideology, but by engagement metrics. And engagement thrives on division. Elections still matter, but not in the way most people think. By the time you vote, most decisions have already been influenced. Your fears, your priorities, your sense of urgency. The real political battle happens before the ballot, in narratives, in framing, in repetition. Voting is the final act, not the beginning. Democracy didn't disappear. It evolved. And like all evolutions, some changes benefit the system more than the people. America is not collapsing. It is being reshaped, slowly, quietly, systematically. The danger is not tyranny. The danger is comfort. Because when control feels normal, no one resists it. Power today does not demand obedience. It designs behavior. And the most important question is not who is in charge. It's who decides what feels normal. Because power no longer needs permission. It only needs silence. The most powerful forces in America today don't announce themselves. They don't campaign. They don't debate. They move quietly. Power moves silently. Freedom in America has always been defined by choice. Where to live, what to buy, who to vote for, what to believe. But modern control doesn't remove choices, it overwhelms them. When everything is an option, nothing feels intentional. You scroll, you compare, you react. And slowly, choice becomes noise. You feel independent, but your decisions are guided by what's placed in front of you. Not forcefully, not aggressively, gently. The most effective control does not limit freedom. It shapes desire. America is deeply divided, politically, culturally, emotionally. This division looks chaotic, but chaos is rarely accidental. A divided society is predictable. A divided society is manageable. A divided society never unites against power. When people fight each other, they stop questioning systems. Left versus right, city versus rural, young versus old. Endless conflict. And while Americans argue, decisions are made quietly. Division is not a failure of the system. It is one of its most effective features. It shapes desire. Control does not always come from fear. Sometimes it comes from exhaustion. Rising costs, endless work, permanent stress. When survival becomes the focus, reflection disappears. A population that is financially overwhelmed does not rebel. It adapts. It normalizes pressure. It accepts less. Not because it agrees, but because it's tired. Economic anxiety keeps people busy. Busy people don't organize. They cope. History doesn't repeat itself dramatically. It repeats subtly, not with dictators, but with habits. Every powerful system in history believed it was stable. Every one of them missed the moment it changed, because collapse is loud, transformation is quiet. America is not unique. It is following a pattern, one where control becomes normalized and resistance feels unnecessary until it's too late. Most people don't resist power because they don't feel oppressed. Oppression today doesn't look like chains. It looks like convenience. Comfort is the strongest tranquilizer. As long as life is manageable, as long as entertainment is endless, as long as outrage has an outlet, resistance feels extreme, and power understands this. That's why modern systems don't demand loyalty. They encourage distraction. The future of power is not authoritarian. It is behavioral. It will not tell you what to do. It will make certain actions feel natural. It will not silence you. It will bury you in noise. And the most important question of the future will not be who is ruling, but who is designing the system I live inside. Because once behavior is designed, control becomes invisible. Power no longer arrives with force. It arrives with convenience, with comfort, with familiarity. And by the time it is noticed, it feels normal. That is the true shift, not in government, not in elections, but in how power works. Power moves silently.